Popping that, get your hit quick fast. Popping off it, stepping on the gas. Pop that like I'm popping some gum. Who the you talking to? I ain't the one. It's getting sticky, sticky, sticky. It's getting sticky, sticky, sticky. Bro, it's getting sticky, sticky, sticky. Just getting sticky, sticky, sticky. See, I'm a west side from the zone. Knock, 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 knocking at the door. I keep them nicknames so hip, cause I keep on my fist. Give a about pronouns, I'm that and that. It's getting sticky, sticky, sticky. It's getting sticky, sticky, sticky. Bro, it's getting sticky, sticky, sticky.
KBLA Talk 1580, theme song for America right now. 800-920-1580 if you got something to say. Phone lines are wide open. I want to remind you, tonight at the Pan-African Film Festival is a screening of the film we were talking about Monday by Maddie Rich. And that film is, I think it's at 7:30. I'm going to have to look that up for you. But let me tell you, I will be there, so I hope to see you there. The Pan-African Film Festival taking place at the Culver City Theater this year. And it's off to a great start. The film magazine Dreams was incredible. I think Jonathan Majors is going to get nominated, should get nominated for everything under the sun. And Megan Good was stunning, gracious, fabulous. The attendance of black creatives and celebs was insane. And one thing about the Pan-African Film Festival, you have a certain amount of access. People are friendly. They're there. They know it's our film festival. It's our film festival. So the attitude is different. People are hanging out. They're talking to you. They're taking pics. So go by if you can. I recommend it. And you know who else you'll probably run into? Dr. Gerald Horn, because he goes every year and sees as many of the films as he can possibly see. This is why this man is so smart. I'm being joined right now by a journalist. He lived and wrote in Miami and Tallahassee, Florida for 20 years. He's a 2017 Annenberg National Fellow from USC. Right now he's a freelancer, writes for the National Newspaper Publishers Association, Black Press USA, Al Jazeera, Newswire, and more. He also has a video blog, Speak Freely, with Barrington Salmon, and he joins us this morning. Barrington Salmon. Is it salmon or salmon? You know, there's a big controversy on the internet now about whether you say the L in salmon.
Salmon with the L silent.
Ah, so like the food. Like the food. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let me get it right then, because I never say the L in the food. I never do. It's, Yeah. So, how can you even decide what to write about right now? Everything, the insanely predictable, sort of apocalyptic headlines are coming fast and furious. We know that is a strategy in itself, as was outlined by Steve Bannon when he said, flood the zone, and the press will be so busy with one headline that they'll miss 20 other things that they're doing. I feel like they're executing the strategy beautifully. How are you handling it as a journalist?
I ignore the noise. There are stories that I think are important that I'm still handling. There are other folks who are trying to muddle their way through all the things that are happening, but most of it is distraction. I think most of it is just a distraction so that they can loot the national treasury, give corporations and all of these other folks, the uber rich, the tax breaks that they've been talking about. So we have to just not get caught up in the hype and the noise, and to keep our eyes on what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I suspect as much too, because it took 10 minutes for the richest man in the world to get his hands in the till in the form of the Treasury computer system. This is gravely concerning to me, but I have another friend who's brilliant in IT who says basically Trump has put Elon Musk in charge of software updates and that we're overly hyped about it. Um, is that one of the stories you think is important, or is that one of the ones that is just a distraction?
I think it's one of the most important stories because, and I've been trying to figure out what they're trying to do. But what I've seen so far, it looks like they're grabbing data, our data, to use to make money. And they said that he's already gone in to certain systems and he is taking away the grants and the federal money and other things that his competitors have been getting.
Right. So you're seeing it as a cynical business move, even more than a power grab as far as changing governance. I mean, because a lot of these things are going to turn out to be, I don't, unless every court in the land kind of caves. I mean, a lot of this stuff is going to turn out to be illegal.
Yeah, but here's the thing, where the criminal so-called justice system has already been compromised. I think what they're trying to do is do as much as they can, stretch the system as much as they can, and when these things go to court, basically tell the Supreme Court or the federal appeals people, do whatever you want, because it's going to probably take years for these lawsuits to be resolved, and by then they'll be in and out, because what they're trying to do is to identify and take $2 trillion so that they can give that in tax breaks to the richest people in this country, the 1%. He did it in his first term. They said that they transferred $5.6 billion to $5.6 trillion, I think it was billion dollars to the richest 1%. And when you look at what the middle class and working class have been dealing with, they're not getting the types of increases of wages and salary that the richest 1% are getting. And that is going to continue.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the tax breaks, the so-called tax breaks, I call them party favors that the current Republican president gave to the very wealthy during his first term, it was a massive transfer of wealth.
Yes.
But it didn't involve going into the Treasury and plundering everybody's data, as you say, which imagine the competitive advantage for any corporation. The man's already the richest in the world. It didn't involve the kind of wholesale moves they're trying to do now, cutting the entire U.S. aid agency, which, as I've said before on this show, we know they do some CIA things, some regime changey things, but they also do a lot of, I call it, you break it, you buy it stuff, where they're cleaning up after things we've destroyed in the world, where they're, the work around AIDS in Africa and other places is actually really important. People are concretely dying, starving, in peril right now because of what they're doing. So I guess the question is, he didn't have to do that to fill their pockets last time. So that's what gives me the impression that it's more than just plunder. It is an actual realigning of our government system.
But one of the first things that Steve Bannon said in 2017, 2018 was that the aim was a deconstruction of the administrative state. And what they're doing, they're nihilists, and they're not interested in fixing anything. They're interested in just breaking things down. They have said that they want to destroy the representative system. They want to break down the government, and that's what they're doing. So they're doing two things at the same time. They're looting, or planning to loot, and also breaking down the government system. The thing is that as one of the authoritarians, they're well on their way, it looks like, you got to cow the people into submission. And that's what they're doing. The whole idea that they go into USAID, they shut the employees out of their systems, they shut them out of the building, they've closed it down, they've told everybody who is overseas to come back home, and they've done the same thing. They're doing the same thing. They've cut off the head of DOJ. They've cut off the head of the FBI by firing all of most of the senior people in these agencies. So they're crippling the system, the government system, and also using that as a way to try to force people to comply with them. And we've seen a lot of people complying with them now anyway, even before they come to them to demand.
I mean, particularly in government and media. I'll say a lot of media has preemptively censored themselves. To follow up on your point, according to Bloomberg, U.S. billionaires got $1 trillion richer during Trump's first term. So $1 trillion is what they say, which means it's probably much more than that. Barrington Salmon is my guest. You're invited to call if you want, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-550-9651.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-550-9651. That's 800-550-9651.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your nature-made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
I have a dream today.
From slavery and segregation to the Great Migration to our present-day rising, the Black experience in America is a story of resilience, achievement, and unstoppable spirit. This February, we're curating amazing conversations celebrating the heroes, the pioneers, and the everyday people who made history. Black History Month on KBLA Talk 1580. Together, we carry the torch forward.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
I do want to let you know, next hour we're talking about price gouging. The city attorney will be with us, Heidi Feldstein, Soto will be with us, and we're going to have that deep dive. A lot of crazy stuff going on in the wake of these LA fires. Talking right now with journalist Barrington Salmon. You are welcome to get in the conversation if you have a question, comment, or some information to bring to light, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. It's a lot. What's going on right now in the country and the world, to me, I am not trying to scurry after every story, although I am trying to stay abreast of them. I think it's more important, Barrington, for us to have a solid understanding of the ones that are most important and a clear view of the trend line where this is heading. Yeah. So that's the way that I'm kind of processing it. And I'm not going to lie, I do feel a bit overwhelmed, like I can't read enough to keep up with the shenanigans that are going on. You say the deconstruction of the administrative state. And some of the things that, say, RFK or Elon Musk say might sound good to a progressive. Oh, you're going to get rid of, you're going to defund the CIA, or you're going to, take on the big pharmaceutical companies. Why is it different than when the left makes these kinds of proposals?
I think in a lot of cases, the left have very rarely been in a situation where they could execute the things that they want. These guys, one of the things that we have to remember is that this is like at least a 60-year project. From the time that Martin Luther King, the SCLC, NAACP, and young marchers took to the streets to fight against Jim Crow segregation, these guys, the Leonard Leos, the Heritage Foundation, and these folks, they have been strategizing how to take the courts, how to reverse everything that we're seeing in terms of affirmative action, diversity, equity, and inclusion, women getting opportunities to go out into the job market. All of these things have been pissing off these guys, these far-right MAGA conservatives, they call them. They give them all these labels that don't really mean anything. And it's interesting because in last summer, I met a young man named Alex Aronson he's the executive director for a group called Court Accountability. And he's the one that schooled me about Project 2025, which is like a $1 billion project with more than 100 conservative groups that wrote the blueprint that Trump and Musk are using to destroy the government, to take over. Because what they said that they really want, they want a Christian national theocracy.
You left out, you left out white. There's one descriptor missing there. Yep.
Right wing, far right, extremist, all of those things. They want a right wing, white nationalist theocracy. And all of this, I'm still trying to understand why they would be so, because they wrote a 920-page manifesto of all the things that they wanted to do in the first 180 days of any conservative government, any Republican government that came in. But what I think is that they have had what I call sleeper cells, where they've had people who supported the stuff that they believe in, and they were waiting for the opportunity to execute it. I mean, I look at the FBI, for example, and I think about all the years that the FBI harassed, targeted, intimidated, and jailed black people for no other reason than they were seeking freedom from this oppressive system. And now they're beginning to see what it's like when other people are doing to them what they have done to us.
So now they want to dismantle the FBI or reshape it, send out, notices to the entire workforce of the CIA.
Yeah.
That's probably illegal. I don't know that it'll stand. But like you said, if they do all this stuff and people acquiesce, they accept a buyout where they may never get paid because that money has not been appropriated. If they quit their jobs, if these systems are already hacked and all the data is duplicated or whatever, Easter eggs, whatever they leave behind inside those systems. How it's not that easy to undo, right? Even if
No.
courts rule this stuff illegal or a new administration comes in, I mean, we don't even really know what Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and the tech oligarchy did with computer systems during the election, never mind the voter suppression. We don't even really know what they did or did not do. There's been no investigation. So how do you unwind that?
There won't be an investigation.
Yeah, it appears not.
No, I mean, Pam Bondi came in yesterday. They confirmed her yesterday.
Yeah.
And the first thing that she said is that she's going to start an investigation against corporations that have DEI.
Yeah.
So no, the thing. I look at all of this, and I just keep on thinking about Dr. John Henry Clark that said that black people have no friends. We have no friends. The Democrats. One of the things that I've always talked to activists and advocates about is the fact that most of the time Democrats wait until a month or two before the elections to go into black communities to try to convince people to vote. They're very rarely put in the money.
I mean, does anybody have friends in politics? It's so transactional. It's so, it's so...
Jewish people do.
Well,
the Jewish people do.
Do they really, though? Well, I don't...
In America. Because of the
But,
money,
I mean, is it okay, or is it just Jewish America, the Zionist lobby kind of organizing themselves? I mean, that's a whole other question. I challenge the doom and gloom scenario of black people, everyone hates us, blah, blah, blah. In that sense, I challenge that. In the other sense, I challenge this idea of friends at all in politics. I know that racism and white supremacy, the delusion of white supremacy, is impacting us. I'm not saying it's not. I wonder how it serves us to get into a mentality that we have no friends. And does anybody have friends in politics? And so then does it become about alliances or mutual interest rather than who likes you?
It has to be about alliances and mutual interest. And one of the things that I think that this period offers us as black people is the opportunity to review everything that we have, the partnerships we have, the alliances we have, where we want to go, we want to go.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
so it's not just doom and gloom. It's like an acknowledgement of the reality of where we stand. Because listen, most of I don't know if I can say most. Many of the liberal and progressive white people or liberal and progressives who are not black, they're rolling out.
Yeah.
Or have rolled out.
Rolling out meaning they're leaving these institutions, they're leaving the country. What do you mean by rolling out?
No. I'm saying that the relationships that they've had with us in a lot of cases. I mean, look at 2020 to now. Right after they killed George Floyd, you had all of these corporations pledging all of this money,
which most of which they never made good on. Most of it was just a PR stunt, and Black Enterprise had a great article about how most of them basically just lied.
Yeah. So that's the type of thing that we got to look at, and make assessments of who's with us and who's not. I think that one of the things that was beneficial to black people in this country during segregation was that we were much more cohesive. The money stayed in the community, and we were forced to do things with us that changed, and everything changed after integration. So I think that we almost have no choice but to go back to that.
Well, you sound like Pastor Q yesterday talking about resegregating. I think when we do that, we conveniently skim over a lot of the major problems that we had due to segregation. But I understand the spirit of it and certainly the economic value of it. We just have a minute here, less than a minute, before news, traffic, and sports. So I ask you an easy, hard question. What's the one story you think we're sleeping on that we should be tracking more right now? I mean, because there's
not sure.
There's so much to choose from. Okay, well, let me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure either, but I will say this. I wanted to follow up on your point about Pam Bondi, the new head of the Department of Justice, saying she's going to investigate companies that do DEI, even though it's obviously not against the law. This is the same lady who took money in the form of a donation from the Trump organization in return for not prosecuting him for ripping off all those people who trusted in Trump University. We'll continue our conversation with Barrington Salmon and you after News, Traffic, and Sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu supports President Trump's plan for the U.S. to take over Gaza and relocate its 2 million Palestinians. Netanyahu called it the first good idea he's heard. Trump aims to clear the destruction and redevelop the region. New York City residents face a treacherous morning commute due to a winter storm bringing snow, ice, and rain. Early morning snow will turn to sleet and freezing rain, making driving very difficult. Pennsylvania authorities are searching for those who stole 100,000 organic eggs worth over $40,000 from a truck in Greencastle over the weekend. The theft occurred late Saturday night. And Amazon will hold an event later this month in New York City where it's expected to give an update on its Alexa digital assistant. The company has been working to come out with a new version of the assistant with more advanced artificial intelligence capabilities. I'm Bree Wood on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
If you were self-employed or a 1099 contractor and missed work because you had COVID or cared for an immediate family member with COVID in 2021, you may qualify for up to $32,000 for the Sick and Family Leave Credit. Visit taxcreditnow.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers made a trade folks have been expecting after sending Anthony Davis to Dallas. Needing a quality big man in the middle to replace AD, the Lakers traded for Charlotte Hornets center Mark Williams, a 7-footer in his 3rd season out of Duke. Williams is averaging 15.6 points and 9.8 rebounds. To get Williams, the Lakers gave Charlotte first-round pick Dalton Knecht, Cam Reddish, and a couple of future draft picks. It was tough for the Lakers to let Knecht go. Among NBA rookies, Knecht ranks 5th in scoring and 2nd in three-pointers. The UCLA women's basketball team set a school record with 22 straight wins. The Bruins beat Ohio State 65-52, 19 points and 14 rebounds for Lauren Betts. The number 1 Bruins are 22-0, 10-0 in the Big Ten Conference. USC's women's basketball team ranked 7th in the country, cruised to an 86-64 win at Wisconsin. 15 points for Kiki Irefin, 14 for Juju Watkins. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you neighbor to neighbor, bringing you resources and what you need to know. For information on fire recovery resources, recovery hubs, and available services, call 211 for the City of Los Angeles and 311 county-wide. Aid distribution locations, repopulation updates, and safety rules are constantly changing. Visit the LA City and LA County websites for the latest. If you'd like to sign up for the county's free debris removal, fill out a right of entry form, or get a list of disaster recovery centers that are still active, please visit recovery.lacounty.gov or call the debris hotline at 844-347-3332. If you're vulnerable to mudslides with rain in the forecast, free sandbags are being offered. Go to lacounty.pw/sandbags to find out where to get them. Businesses who have lost their facilities due to the fires can use a regional online source to get free or discounted locations. Whether you're interested in donating or finding space, you can visit the business-to-business Space Share portal at spaceshare.lacounty.gov. Additional LA County small business support and programs can be found at opportunity.lacounty.gov. Praying, advocating, and standing with you. KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
I want to say I found it finally. The screening of Birth of the Black Underworld, Matty Rich's film, the director of The Inkwell, who was here on Monday. The screening is tonight at 7 p.m. and my colleague, Dr. Shalonda Crawford, is one of the stars of that movie. Dr. Sunshine is in the movie, directed by Matty Rich. Birth of the Black Underworld is what it's called. It's at the Culver Theater, and it will be at 7 o'clock this evening. So I wanted to make sure I got that info out before I forget. Congrats to my colleague. The lovely Dr. Shalonda Crawford was at the opening night of PAF as well. Talking with Barrington Salmon, talking all things, everything, all the headlines and such. A judge so far blocking Trump's birthright citizenship order nationwide. That's a nationwide injunction. There was already a restraining order. This one is a little bit, I think it has a little bit more teeth. This is the president, the Republican Party's attempt to, alter, undermine, abolish the 14th Amendment. Your thoughts?
Most definitely. It's interesting because everything that these folks have been doing, the kernel, the core of what they're doing is attacking African Americans. I think that he's going after the birthright citizenship thing to use that as a pretext to try to denaturalize African Americans, and I could be wrong, but also denaturalize anybody who has a child who's not white. If you this ties in with
J.D. Vance.
Huh? I'm sorry?
J.D. Vance, I said.
Yeah, it ties in with the white replacement theory. They're so because the dude in charge said the other day that that they would welcome immigrants from white immigrants from South Africa and white immigrants from other parts of the world.
Yeah.
So it's clear that they are trying to do that, trying to do everything they can to dilute.
It's a really interesting moment, Barrington, because I feel like I've been saying this since way before the election, that I feel like attacks on birthright citizenship are a Trojan horse. I do feel like they are meant to eventually allow them to make black people not citizens or decide which black people are citizens. But what makes it so tricky, in my opinion, is that a substantial number of African Americans think that the deportation of all of these folks from other countries is going to benefit black Americans, and that some kind of stricter citizenship guideline will help us in some way, make us more special. And the president seemed to play on that belief when he made that statement about the 14th Amendment was intended for slaves. But I mean, if you look at the cynical way they've said one thing about abortion rights and then done a completely other, lied at Senate hearings, and then just blatantly gone after people. I don't know why we would trust that. I wonder why you came to that conclusion, because for me it was just the logic of their hate, but I wonder how you came to that conclusion.
I have been watching what they've been doing. I write a column for Florida Phoenix about Florida government politics, and Ron DeSantis has been working with Leonard Leo. They stacked the state Supreme Court with his allies. Leo has guided DeSantis on a host of issues, many of which are attacks against Black people, erasure of Black history, for example. So they've been doing this, and it just appears to me that's been like Florida's like a lab, a test lab for them to do dry runs, and then when they've figured out the kinks and stuff, then they take it national. One of the things that we have to understand, I think, is that the whole time that Trump is a symptom. He's not the disease, and people think it's easy, or people find it easy to blame him for everything that's going on. There's a whole bunch of folks who have been in the shadows, out of the spotlight, who have been working for what we're seeing taking place. The amount of voter suppression, voter subversion, they purged millions of Black people off of the voting rolls in Georgia and in Texas and in other places. So, and I heard Trump say that he was thanking Musk for what he did to ensure that they won the election. So it could have been stolen.
And he specified Pennsylvania when he said that, which was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got folks on the phones. If you want to chime in, you're welcome to call. Some people, talking in the chat, talking on our apps, on Twitter, on Instagram, at KBLA 1580. I'm at DiPrima Radio, DiPrima, and then radio. But you're welcome to pick up your old-fashioned phone and call. Let's go to Dwight from Compton. Good morning, Dwight. You're on with Barrington Salmon.
Good morning, Dominique. Good morning, Barrington. It's funny. We have three South Africans attacking our government right now. We got Elon Musk from South Africa. We got Peter Thiel from South Africa, and David Sachs from South Africa. And all of them made their money by selling PayPal, and that's how they got a start. And then Elon Musk got a loan to keep Tesla alive from President Obama. But right now, Barrington, it's really important, I feel, for us to have them restart this USAID program where we feed the world, poor people, starving people in the world, and we give them medicine to stop diseases in Africa where they start, like Ebola right now is in Uganda, and eventually those diseases spread across the world. So if we can go to Congress.gov and call our Congress person, whether he's Republican or Democrat, at 202-224-3121, ask them to please start up the President Aid, because it helps our farmers feed the world and it stops diseases going. So, Barrington, what did you feel about Elon Musk stopping the USAID program that's helping so many of the poor people around the world?
One of the features of everything that we're seeing is that the abject callousness and cruelty with which these people operate. They are monsters. They're inhuman, and I don't know that they'll resurrect the U.S. aid agency, because I think primarily because it helps so many people in so many places. We watched a live genocide take place since October 7th, and neither Democrats nor Republicans did anything to stop it. They are inhumane. They don't care about people. I think it's important. USAID has been very important. I don't think it's gonna be resurrected, and so we're gonna have numbers of people, millions maybe, of people in other countries that were benefiting that will not have that option.
Yeah, I mean,
our farmers.
Well,
farmers here in America.
Dwight, yeah, hold on a sec.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
Well, but here's the thing. There's a public relations piece of that, which is also going to create more peril. I mean, people already are angry at the U.S. about Gaza and any other number of things which are justifiable. And now you take away the carrot that goes with the stick. It seems like that elevates the possibility of war and terrorism.
Exactly.
But Dominique, one of the things that I'm looking at, they offered thousands of CIA agents the opportunity to leave, and in my mind, that leaves the country vulnerable to whoever may want to come and cause harm to the people here. So, if you think of it in terms of what you're doing, this is not homeland security. This is not protection of the people. They are dismantling everything that would help protect the people.
Yeah, I mean, there's an ancient West African saying, are you going to build or are you going to destroy? And it does seem like coming in with a wrecking ball is the strategy. What do you build after that is the question. I'm not convinced that the Republicans, not just Drumpf, who, is a real estate guy, I know, but I am not convinced that the Republicans know how to build anything. They keep talking about they have a different plan, healthcare plan, but we haven't seen it. And they've been talking about it since 2016. They want to remove the Affordable Care Act, but you want to destroy, but there's no evidence of what you will build or that you even have capacity to build. And by the way, Dwight, it wasn't just a loan. Tesla has been sucking off the government teat since its inception. It has never been a profitable company. The only reason that it exists is because of massive generous subsidies, many of them from Democrats, but also from Republicans.
But a part of this problem is that neither party really caters to the people. And I've said it before. They're both sides of the same coin.
I mean, I get that. I do think that we'd be in better shape if we had President Kamala Harris. I know people don't want to hear that, especially progressives, but I doubt she'd be talking about annexing Gaza and making it into a Club Med. I mean, she did say sovereignty, self-determination, and respect was due to the people of Gaza. And the current president, the current Republican Party, wants to move them all out of there, complete ethnic cleansing, and annex, which of course the world has, resisted and clapped back against that. You can definitely make the argument they're both corporate parties that are not for the people, but that's a substantial difference if you happen to be a Palestinian who wants to go home.
But here's a question that I have. I honestly believe that VP Harris lost the election because of Gaza.
Yeah, I mean, I said that before the election, that they probably, and that's one reason, along with voter suppression, along with whatever shenanigans folks did.
Yeah.
But hold that thought, Barrington Salmon. We'll continue this conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward. It's KBLA Talk 1580's third annual Black History Month luncheon, and you're invited. This is year 2 of our climate justice work, and this year's $2 million 12-month campaign is all about linking and combating the relationship between climate and Black health. We already know that these wildfires will leave in their wake even greater inequities, including negative impacts on Black health, given the toxic air pollutants circulating in the air we breathe. So, as part of this year's climate campaign, we're honoring Black doctors and leaders in healthcare at our annual Black History Month luncheon, Friday, February 28th at noon. If you would like to join us, just go to our KBLA 1580 website and register for your chance to be our guest at the luncheon. We'd love to see you. And in case you haven't heard the news, KBLA Talk 1580 was just named one of the semifinalists for the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like your style, though?
What make you? Yeah.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth. Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
We are talking with Barrington Salmon and you, 800-920-1580, if you want to weigh in. Barrington, you were just responding to my response to yours, saying there are two sides of the same coin. I am still in the Democratic Party. I'm the progressive wing. I'm currently thinking about leaving because I think that Democrats are rolling over right now. This is a 5-alarm fire, as AOC said. And the fact that they're voting for yes on any of his doggone nominees, to me, is just ridiculous. But I do think, as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says now, he obviously is backing Trump's idea that the U.S. should take over Gaza. He's preparing the Israeli army to force Palestinians to leave Gaza. That, to me, is a substantial difference. Whether Kamala Harris lost because of cheating by the Republican Party, voter suppression, or because of Gaza, or some combination thereof, yes, all of that may be true. But here we're seeing one of the stark differences between the two parties.
There are stark differences, but the problem that I have is that for the entire time that Biden was in office, particularly in his last year, he approved like $20 billion worth of military and other aid to Israel, 2,000 pound bombs. Thousands of
Understood, received. I'm not here to defend Biden, but what I'm telling you is right now we are seeing the very real results of people staying home, people cheating, of voter suppression and disillusionment, and it's not good.
It's not good at all. And what it suggests to me is that if whatever we do in this country, it's going to come from the grassroots, not from the top.
Yeah. Well,
we need more than two parties.
Okay, so that's a conversation that is a perennial convo, but to me that means the time to have a third or fourth or fifth party that can actually win things. It's time to organize that is now, not 90 days before or 6 months before a presidential election. Is that happening?
I am talking to and seeing people on the ground, working, organizing. It's not as widespread or prolific as I would like, but I see it, and I talk to people, and people are committed. But here's the thing: one of the things that this entire system, you spend most of your time working, you spend most of your time trying to make a living. They said that the majority of Americans do not have $300 or $400 if there's an emergency.
Right.
So this system is unsustainable. for working people.
Yeah.
And the amount of time that we spend trying to take care of ourselves, trying to take care of our families, we often don't have time to organize, but we got to do it. We have to, because our lives depend on it.
Meanwhile, I mean, it is true that people are marching from coast to coast. It's not just, it's immigrants, it's students, it's people concerned about Gaza, it's people, concerned about other moves that this administration is making. I feel like that's going to escalate. Someone pointed out an article to me about this Linda Lee Fagan, a U.S. Coast Guard commandant who was ordered out of her home on the base with 3 hours notice. More than 2 million federal employees have a deadline of midnight today to decide whether they're going to resign under the Elon Musk plan, for which they'll probably never get paid. And the reason I'm bringing these up is because I think as more and more folks, as veterans realize their DEI, as white women realize their DEI, as people get pushed out of their jobs and homes, that the resistance will increase. But I wonder, because there's so much delusion going on right now.
I think it will. And I think one of the unintended consequences may be the creation of some Luigi Mangionis. Because people are going to push back against it. Because this is their lives that these people are talking about. And I'm listening to them on TV, and they're saying that they do not care. That their job is to hurt the people that they consider to be their enemies. And for me, the pendulum's going to swing, and turnabout is fair play. So they need to be careful what they're doing, because it is going to come back and get them.
Let's go to Fred from L.A. real quick. Fred, I need the short version if you would.
Hello, Dominique. You had a couple of callers on, a lawyer and a gentleman, talking about the Eaton fire and rebuilding and what it's going to cost. Well, I got some numbers for you, and I looked at my homeowner's insurance policy. $249 a square foot is what they're going to pay. They're going to pay 10% more for other structures, $416,000 for personal property, $166,000 for a law.
Okay, you know what, Fred? You're kind of veering off where we are right now. I would love for you to call back. Typically, our hour one is our local hour, and we can talk more in depth about that. So give me your bottom line for now, and let's talk further about this, because I think that's going to be a huge issue in the days ahead.
Okay, black wealth. If I were doing this, they're going to clean my lot for free. That's what the county says. I'll get $994,000, assuming I got a $194,000 mortgage.
Just one sentence, your bottom line here. We can go into the weeds next time you call.
Okay.
What's your bottom line?
I would have had my insurance company paid my loan off, and I'd walk out the door with $800,000, and I'd do what I want to do.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's one plan. It certainly doesn't lead to future black ownership, but it might work for you. Any thoughts on that, Barrington?
I think my biggest concern is the number of homeowners in LA and LA area who have been affected by the fire, who insurance companies refuse to give policies to. And I wonder if the government is making provisions for that, because that would mean that considerable numbers of homeowners wouldn't have anything to get to help them rebuild.
Well, the insurance commissioner has given a moratorium on dropping people, but the issue of people having trouble getting insurance in the first place is one that is definitely hitting some folks. We only have a minute and a half here, Barrington Salmon. Tell folks how to follow you, read your writings, and what thought you would like us to go deeper in as we walk around today.
Okay. Barrington Salmon Writes is my website. You can Google me, Barrington M. Salmon. I'm on Twitter as well. What I think we need to be walking around with is in response to your question that you asked earlier, a story to keep our eye on is the potential increase of domestic terrorism, because with the FBI being decapitated and having to look at its survival, this issue that has been one that has continued to increase since 2007, I think will get worse now that they're going to be egged on by MAGA and far right. we as people, all of us, black, white, whatever, we need to protect ourselves, take care of ourselves, ignore the noise. And, self-help is a big thing these days, that we just got to take care of ourselves and each other.
Yeah, that's a great point, especially with the release of 1,600 proven domestic terrorists at the same time as the weakening of the FBI.
Yes.
It's almost a perfect storm. Yeah. Barrington Salmon writes, the Los Angeles City Attorney joins me in studio next hour, and we are talking about price gouging. It's an epidemic post-fires, and maybe you want to call back then, Fred. Heidi Feldstein-Soto, next, after News, Traffic, and Sports. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu supports President Trump's plan for the U.S. to take over Gaza. An event later this month in New York City, where it's expected to give an update on its election